Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a quick review on the new Venom Let There Be Carnage movie. I just got back from seeing it, and it was a really good movie. Basically, I'm just going to do a quick little movie review, tell you what's going on with the movie. And basically, with this one, it kind of picks up where the last one left off, and Venom and Eddie Brock are pretty much living harmoniously, with each other in Eddie's apartment. And they're basically getting along, kind of laying low and everything. And they're just kind of working on Eddie Brock's stories and stuff that he's, because he's a reporter. And then, he's real good with Mrs. Chen, and she knows about Venom, and she kind of protects him, or he protects her, I should say. And then he finally gets a request from Cletus Cassidy about doing, I guess, another report on him. And basically what happens, they kind of talk, and then as they're leaving, Venom notices Cletus's cell, and then they go back, and basically what happens is Cletus had, killed a whole bunch of people, but nobody knows where any of the victims are buried. And so Eddie Brock and Venom figure it out, and then end up finding all the victims, and then Cletus Cassidy ends up, I guess, going to trial and got convicted and sent to death, because before that they couldn't really prove anything, so they took the death penalty off. Well, now they put it back on, and then the day he is supposed to be executed, Eddie Brock goes over to visit him for one last, I guess he was requested for one last interview, and as they're talking, Venom got mad and kind of grabbed Cletus, and they're kind of struggling there because he was in a cage or in a cell, and they're trying to get pissed, and then Cletus ended up biting Eddie Brock's hand, and he got a little blood on his finger, and it looked like it was a little symbiote type thing. So he took ate it, and then when he went to be put to death, the symbiote ended up fighting back, and he became Carnage. And then he ended up kind of getting the backstory, a little bit of Cletus, that when he was a kid, he ended up being, kind of abused by his mom, and he killed his mom and his grandmother, and got abused by his dad. And there's this gal, her name is Frances, and I guess when he got sent off to St. Estes, kids, for like unwanted kids, they became friends, and she has a special ability that she could produce this loud sound. And then after Cletus Cassidy left, she ended up getting sent to Ravencroft. And then so Carnage and Cletus Cassidy made a deal that Carnage would get Venom, because Venom ended up, I guess it's his father, because it's made out of when he was mad. And then so he escapes out of San Quentin, and they're looking for him, and then they think that Eddie Brock has something to do with it. And then when Eddie Brock was figuring all this stuff out, him and Venom kind of got into a big fight, and then Venom ended up leaving Eddie Brock, and then going, trying to find a suitable host, and then ended up going getting into like somebody else, and went to this party. That's the whole party scene, and Venom was really wanting to go be a lethal protector, is what he was saying, because this Venom movies is based off, the Venom Lethal Protector storyline, which I have. And it's based off, this whole series here. And he, throughout the movie, he kept saying that he wants to be a lethal protector and wants to go fight bad guys and protect people. And Eddie Brock didn't want to do that because he wanted to be on the down low and stay low for a while because they're still looking at him after the stuff that happened at the Life Foundation. So finally, after Eddie Brock escapes San Quentin, he goes to find his girlfriend Frances, and so Eddie Brock gets arrested, and because the cop that was talking, or Detective Mullen, was the one that ended up shooting his Frances and thought he killed her. And then, so they basically, have to go find him. And then Carnage takes takes Cletus, and they find his girlfriend, and they break her out of Ravencroft, and they end up getting married in this church. And then they end up kidnapping Anne, which was, Eddie Brock's former fiance and her current husband. And then, so at the end of the whole movie, basically they're at that church fighting, and there's, big, huge fight that happens between Venom and Carnage practically beat up Venom really bad, and then basically almost killed him, and then they end up rallying up to get, together with Eddie Brock, because Anne actually had to go find Venom, and because Venom was actually in the store and possessed Mrs. Chen, and so they finally start fighting, and then basically Venom eats Carnage, and then bites off the head of Cletus Cassidy. Now, I don't know if, so since he did that, so I don't think Cletus Cassidy is going to be around anymore for any future movies or Carnage, because they kind of killed Cletus Cassidy and Carnage off. So I don't know if they're ever going to do any more Venom movies with them in it. And then so basically they kind of leave San Francisco because Venom always wanted to go, put the wind in his hair and the sand in his feet and everything. And then throughout the whole movie they kept referencing Lethal Protector, this storyline. And so basically at the end of the movie they go to find some beach somewhere, and they're actually kind of gonna go. They left San Francisco just to kind of get away from out of town, so that all the heat, I guess, will die down. And then I guess they're gonna maybe go find somewhere else to be lethal protectors somewhere else, wherever they want to go. And then there is this big talk online about the post-credit scene that ties it to the MCU, and in the there is that big post-credit scene where Eddie Brock is sitting there in some room on some island, I guess the same island that they were at, and they're watching TV, and Eddie Brock's talking to Venom, and then, Venom's telling him about the shutout they're watching, and then he was telling about how much knowledge Venom knows of, billions of years and all this from his planet, and he's about ready to tell or show Eddie Brock what happened, like just a small piece of their, what he knows, and all of a sudden everything just goes crazy, like some kind of time warp or something. And then they were in some dingy room at night, and all of a sudden he wakes up and they're in that same room, but it's a little bit nicer and it's daytime. And then they're watching TV, and then it's the news on, and you see J. Jonah Jameson on the TV talking about Spider-Man is really Peter Parker. You know, the last part of Spider-Man Far From Home, where J. Jonah Jameson outs Spider-Man, or outs Peter Parker as Spider-Man. It's that clip. And then what I think it was, and how this ties into the MCU, is that I think in Spider-Man No Way Home, when he's talking to Doctor Strange about making everybody not know that he's Spider-Man, when everything goes wonky and changes the multiverse, I think that somehow affected Venom and Eddie Brock, and I think pulled them into their universe. So now Spider-Man, or now that Venom is now knows of Spider-Man. So now maybe they might, in the future Spider-Man movies, or might have him bring in Eddie Brock and Venom into the MCU, or maybe in the future Venom movies, they might have Tom Holland's Spider-Man be in future Venom movies with Sony. So I don't know how that's all going to work, if they're going to just do a deal with Sony to have Venom over with Spider-Man for the MCU, and hopefully have Tom Hardy come, or if they're just going to start setting up their own universe, Spider Universe and Sony, and have Tom Holland be Spider-Man in that. So I don't know what they're going to do, but it would be interesting to see. So that's my movie review. I hope you liked it. If you did, smack a thumbs up. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that you can stay up to date whenever I start to try to upload. And make sure you share it, and favorite, and comment. And make sure you check out the rest of my content on my channel. Until